The vanishing point, the deep space exploration vessel Prometheus Dawn, cut through the cosmic darkness like a silver needle threading through black silk. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge, her weathered hands gripping the command rail as she studied the readings that had brought them to this remote corner of the galaxy. After 18 years of commanding deep space missions, she had learned to trust her instincts, and right now, every instinct screamed that they were approaching something unprecedented. "Captain, we're receiving those anomalous energy signatures." "Again," reported Dr. Marcus Chen from his science station. The chief science officer's usually calm demeanor showed cracks of excitement. "The readings are unlike anything in our databases. It's as if space itself is ... folded here." Lieutenant Sarah Cross looked up from her navigation console, her young face pale with concentration. "Ma'am, our instruments are showing impossible readings. According to our sensors, there's a region ahead where the laws of physics appear to be suggestions rather than rules." Vasquez nodded grimly. The Prometheus Dawn carried 52 of humanity's finest specialists, each chosen for their expertise and courage. They had volunteered for this mission, knowing they might never return to Earth. The United Earth Federation had detected strange signals from Sector 7 Alpha, signals that suggested the presence of something that could change humanity's understanding of the universe forever. "Show me the visual," Vasquez ordered. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that made even the most experienced crew members gasp. Before them stretched what could only be described as a tear in reality itself. The anomaly pulsed with colors that had no names, edges that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. It was beautiful and terrifying, a gateway that defied every known law of physics. "My God," whispered engineer Jake Morrison from his position at the system's console. "It's like looking at the birth of creation itself." Communications officer Ana Reyes turned from her station, her voice tight with awe. "Captain, I'm detecting patterns in the energy emissions. They're not random. There's intelligence behind this phenomenon." The bridge fell silent, except for the steady hum of the ship's systems. Vasquez felt the weight of command, the responsibility for 52 lives, and possibly the future of humanity itself. They had traveled 18 months to reach this point, following signals that had taken decades to reach Earth. Whatever lay beyond that anomaly represented the unknown in its purest form. "Dr. Chen, what's your analysis?" Vasquez asked. The science officer consulted his readings, his fingers dancing across holographic displays. "Captain, this appears to be a stable wormhole of unprecedented size and complexity, but it's not natural. The geometric patterns, the energy distributions, someone or something created this. The technology required would be beyond our current understanding by thousands of years." "Could it be a trap?" asked Lieutenant Cross. "Unknown," Chen replied. "Honestly. But the energy signatures suggest it's been here for millennia, long before humans developed space travel. If it's a trap, it wasn't set for us specifically." Vasquez studied her crew. These were humanity's best and brightest, volunteers who had signed up knowing they might never see home again. They had trained for years, prepared for scenarios that pushed the boundaries of imagination. But nothing had prepared them for this moment of ultimate choice. "Ma'am," Morrison spoke up, "our ship's systems are responding to the anomaly. It's as if the Prometheus Dawn recognizes something familiar about the energy patterns. Our quantum engines are resonating with the phenomena." Ana Reyes suddenly straightened at her console. "Captain, I'm receiving something. Not a transmission exactly, but a pattern. It's almost like an invitation." The bridge erupted in quiet conversation. As crew members processed this information, Vasquez raised her hand for silence. She opened a ship-wide communication channel, knowing that her next words would echo through history. All hands, this is the captain. We stand at the threshold of the unknown. Our mission was to investigate the anomalous readings from this sector. We have found something that challenges our understanding of reality itself. Based on our analysis, this appears to be a gateway created by an intelligence far beyond our current capabilities. She paused, looking at each of her bridge crew in turn. We have a choice. We can return to Earth with our findings, report what we've discovered, and wait for a larger expedition. Or we can fulfill our mission as explorers and step through that gateway into the unknown. The ship's intercom crackled with responses from throughout the vessel. One by one, department heads reported engineering was ready. Science division was eager. Medical had prepared for unknown contingencies. The choice was unanimous. They would go forward. Dr. Chen, what can you tell us about passage through the anomaly? Vasquez asked. Unknown, Captain. Our computers can model the entry phase, but beyond that, we're in uncharted territory. The energy readings suggest we'll experience significant spatial and temporal distortions. Time itself may function differently on the other side. All stations, prepare for anomaly passage, Vasquez commanded. Seal all bulkheads, secure all equipment, and make sure everyone is strapped in. We're about to make history. The Prometheus. Dawn approached the swirling gateway, its hull beginning to resonate with harmonic frequencies that seemed to come from the anomaly itself. The ship's lights flickered as unknown energies washed over them. Crew members throughout the vessel felt a strange tingling sensation, as if reality itself was preparing to reshape around them. Entering the anomaly's influence zone now, reported Cross. Captain, our instruments are going crazy. Space-time is definitely distorted here. The view screen showed the anomaly growing larger, its impossible geometries filling their vision. Colors that shouldn't exist painted patterns across their hull. The Prometheus Dawn shuddered as competing gravitational forces pulled at its structure. Hull integrity holding, Morrison called out. But Captain, our matter-antimatter engines are behaving strangely. They're operating at 300% normal efficiency, as if the anomaly is supercharging our power systems. Suddenly, the ship lurched forward with tremendous speed. The gateway rushed toward them. Or perhaps they were rushing toward its direction, lost all meaning as they crossed the threshold. The last thing Captain Vasquez saw on her instruments was a message from Ana Reyes Station. Temporal displacement detected. Duration unknown. Then reality folded around them like origami made of starlight and dreams. The Prometheus Dawn disappeared into the anomaly, leaving only empty space where humanity's greatest exploration vessel had been moments before. On Earth, 18 months of light years away, monitors went dark as the last telemetry signal faded into cosmic background radiation. The crew of the Prometheus Dawn found themselves in a realm where the rules of existence were written in languages they had never imagined. Space stretched in directions that had no names. Time flowed like a river, with multiple currents, some moving backward, others sideways through dimensions that folded into themselves. The ship's instruments registered readings that should have been impossible. They were simultaneously nowhere and everywhere, existing in a state that transcended normal understanding. As consciousness returned to the crew, they realized they were no longer entirely the same people who had entered the anomaly. Something fundamental had changed, not just in their understanding, but in their very being. They had crossed a threshold that transformed not just their location, but their nature as human beings. The Prometheus Dawn drifted through impossible space, its crew awakening to abilities and knowledge they had never possessed before. They were still human, but they were also something more, bridges between the reality they had known and realms of existence beyond imagination. The greatest adventure in human history had begun, and there would be no going back to the way things were before. The return protocol. 6 months had passed since the Prometheus Dawn vanished into the anomaly. On Earth, the United Earth Federation had declared the mission lost with all hands. Memorial services honored the 52 brave souls who had ventured into the unknown. The families grieved, scientists analyzed the final transmissions, and humanity looked to the stars with both wonder and sorrow. Admiral James Harrison stood in the command center of Lunar Station, Earth's primary deep space monitoring facility. As the head of the Federation's Exploration Division, he had authorized the Prometheus Dawn mission and carried the weight of those 52 lives on his conscience. The morning briefing had been routine until Lieutenant Commander Walsh burst through the doors with an expression of pure disbelief. "Admiral, we're receiving a signal from Sector 7 Alpha," Walsh announced, his voice trembling with excitement. "It's the Prometheus Dawn." Harrison felt his heart stop. "That's impossible. The ship was lost 6 months ago." "Sir, the quantum signature is unmistakable. It's definitely the Prometheus Dawn, but—" Walsh hesitated, consulting his tablet. "The energy readings are off the charts. The ship is generating power levels equivalent to a small star. Within hours, every major Earth facility was tracking the returning vessel. As it approached the outer solar system, it became clear that the Prometheus Dawn had been fundamentally transformed. The ship was now 3 times its original size, its hull gleaming with materials that didn't exist in any human database. Geometric patterns covered its surface, patterns that seemed to shift and change when observed directly. "Open a channel," Harrison ordered as the vessel entered Earth's communication range. The main screen flickered to life, revealing the bridge of the Prometheus Dawn. But it wasn't the bridge Harrison remembered. The space had expanded impossibly, filled with equipment that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Holographic displays showed star charts of galaxies that shouldn't be visible from their location. Captain Elena Vasquez appeared on screen, but she was changed. Her eyes held depths that hadn't been there before, and when she moved, it was with a fluid grace that suggested she was no longer entirely bound by normal physical laws. Behind her, Harrison could see other crew members working with technology that defied understanding. "Admiral Harrison," Vasquez said, her voice carrying harmonics that made the station's hull resonate. "We've returned, though return might not be the correct term. We exist now in multiple states simultaneously. Captain, what happened to you out there? Your ship, your crew, you've been missing for 6 months." Vasquez smiled, and Harrison saw starlight behind her teeth. "We encountered something beyond our wildest imagination, Admiral. Not alien life as we understand it, but the architects of reality itself. Beings that exist between dimensions, entities that shaped the fundamental forces governing existence." Dr. Marcus Chen stepped into view, but he moved wrong, not quite bound by the same physics as everything else. "We made contact with consciousnesses that transcend physical form, Admiral. They exist in the spaces between atoms, in the quantum foam that underlies all matter. They've been watching organic life develop throughout the universe for eons." Harrison's tactical officer whispered urgently in his ear, "Sir, Their ship is generating energy readings that shouldn't be possible. Whatever they encountered has changed them at a fundamental level. Vasquez nodded, as if hearing the whispered conversation. We were given a choice, Admiral. Return to our previous existence, limited by the physics we understood, or accept an invitation to become something more too. Serve as bridges between their dimension and ours. And you chose transformation, Harrison breathed. Engineer Jake Morrison appeared on screen, his form flickering slightly as if he existed in multiple phases of reality. Every one of us, Admiral, we voted unanimously. But we didn't just change ourselves, we brought back gifts for all humanity. The view screen shifted, showing glimpses of the Prometheus Dawn's interior. Harrison saw laboratories where crew members worked with equipment that seemed to think for itself. Engineering sections where matter was being converted directly into energy and back again. Observation decks that offered views of distant galaxies in real time. Lieutenant Sarah Cross materialized beside Morrison, her young face now bearing the wisdom of ages. We learned to manipulate space-time directly, Admiral. Distance and time are no longer barriers for us. We can travel anywhere in the universe instantaneously, exist in multiple locations simultaneously, and perceive reality from dimensions beyond the three we previously knew. Communications Officer Anna Reyes spoke from her expanded station. More importantly, we learned that humanity has a unique gift among organic species. Our stubborn refusal to accept limitations, our ability to adapt and overcome impossible odds. These traits caught the attention of beings that rarely interact with physical life forms. Harrison felt overwhelmed by the implications. What does this mean for Earth, for humanity? Captain Vasquez stepped forward, her image somehow becoming more solid and present. We're offering humanity the same choice we faced, Admiral. The beings we encountered don't interfere directly with developing civilizations, but they recognize something special in human consciousness. Our creativity, our resilience, our absolute determination to explore and grow these qualities make us suitable candidates for transcendence. Transcendence? Harrison asked. Dr. Chen activated a holographic display that showed Earth surrounded by swirling energy patterns. We can share what we've learned, Admiral. Humanity could take the next step in evolution, not biological evolution, but consciousness evolution. We could become a species that exists beyond physical limitations, while retaining everything that makes us human. The bridge of Lunar Station fell silent as the implications sank in. This wasn't just first contact. This was an invitation to fundamentally change what it meant to be human. Morrison's voice carried across space with crystalline clarity. The choice must be unanimous, Admiral. Every human being must agree to the transformation, or none can undergo it. That's how the process works. Consciousness evolution requires species-wide consensus. Harrison looked around at his staff, seeing wonder, fear, and hope reflected in their faces. What guarantees do we have? How do we know this transformation won't destroy what makes us human? You don't, Vasquez replied honestly. But Admiral, we're still us. We still remember our families, our dreams, our hopes for humanity's future. We've just gained the ability to make those dreams reality on a scale we never imagined possible. Anna Reyes added, we can now explore every corner of the universe, communicate with beings of pure consciousness, manipulate matter and energy at the quantum level, and unlock secrets that will benefit countless other developing species. We've become humanity's ambassadors to realms of existence beyond physical reality. The communication continued for hours, As the transformed crew of the Prometheus Dawn shared their experiences and knowledge, they had encountered beings of pure consciousness that existed in dimensions beyond physical reality, entities that had watched the universe develop for billions of years. These beings had recognized in humanity a rare combination of curiosity, determination, and adaptability that made them suitable candidates for transcendence. As the Prometheus Dawn entered Earth orbit, its transformed crew prepared to share their gifts with all of humanity. The choice would soon be offered to every human being, amain as they were, bound by physical limitations, but secure in their familiar existence, or accept transformation into something greater while retaining the essential spark of human consciousness. The crew of the Prometheus Dawn had jumped into the unknown and emerged as pioneers of humanity's next evolutionary step. They had proven once again that humans would never accept limitations, never stop exploring, and never fail to rise to meet the challenges of an infinite universe. The greatest adventure was just beginning, and this time all of humanity would have the chance to take the leap together. The stars were calling, and humanity was finally ready to answer as equals rather than visitors in the cosmic community. The age of transcendence had begun, and it started with 52 brave souls who dared to jump into the unknown and came back as living proof that humans were destined for greatness among the stars.